Hi everybody, welcome back to my music channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing my final video for the year, and it's going to be all my favorite music from 2017. There was a lot of music that I bought this year that didn't necessarily come out this year, so I'm only going to be concentrating on music that actually came out in 2017. So I'm going to start with albums. There were 5 albums that came out this year that I bought, and I actually did full in-depth reviews on all of them on this channel, so I might link them below or something so that you can go and watch them, or you can just look for them on the channel to go and watch those. But a brief synopsis of my opinion on the albums this year, ranking them from best to worst, I would say my favorite was Reputation by Taylor Swift. I think it's one of her best albums. The more that I listened to it, the more that it grew on me, and I actually really love it a lot. Key tracks I would recommend checking out would be I Did Something Bad, Don't Blame Me, Delicate, Gorgeous, Getaway Car, King of My Heart, Dancing with Our Hands Tied, This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things, Call It What You Want, and New Year's Day. But I'd really recommend just checking out the whole album, but those are the key tracks that I would recommend. My second favorite album was I Don't Believe We've Met by Danielle Bradbury. The key tracks I'd recommend checking out there are Sway, Potential, What Are We Doing, Worth It, Messy, Red Wine Plus White Couch, Human Diary, and Laying Low. But again, I would recommend checking out the whole album. It's only 10 tracks. It's a really short album, and each song is so different that I think you'd really have to listen to the whole album. My third favorite album is Nobody's Home by Dalton Rapatoni, and I would say the key tracks to check out would be Back from the Moon, Somewhere in America, Being Young, Growing Older, Trust Nobody, Stay Up With Me, and Would You Like That. But again, I think the whole album in general is pretty good, so I'd recommend checking out the whole album. Number 4 is Younger Now by Miley Cyrus. Key tracks I'd recommend are Younger Now, Rainbow Land, Miss You So Much, Bad Mood, Love Someone, and Inspired. And the album that I would rank number 5 is Road Less Traveled by Lauren Elena. Key tracks I'd recommend are Doing Fine, My Kind of People, 3, Road Less Traveled, Painting Pillows, Same Day, Different Bottle, and Pretty. So even the albums that I put more towards the bottom, I wouldn't say that any of these albums are bad, but there's just ones that I like more than others. But I think even the albums that I put more towards the bottom, I think they're all the albums that came out this year that I bought, I think are all really strong, really good albums. So if you like country or pop or alternative music, I'd recommend checking them out. Those are all the albums that I bought this year. So now moving on to individual songs that came out. One of them was the song Listen by a Japanese rock band called 1OK Rock, and they did actually 2 different versions of the song. They did a version as a duet with Avril Lavigne. That's how I came about the song, because I'm a really big fan of hers. And then they also released just a solo version. So the one with Avril, I think, can only be found on the Japanese edition of their album, which was called Ambitions. So if you want to hear the version with Avril, you might have to kind of search around for it. But I also like the version just with them by themselves. It's kind of like, it's a pop rock alternative kind of song, but because they're Japanese, it kind of has a different flair to it than like American rock music does. And especially if you're a fan of Avril, I recommend checking it out. The next song is Perfect by Ed Sheeran from his album Divide. They've actually released a couple more versions. There was a version as a duet with Beyonce that came out recently, and a version with Andrea Bocelli called Perfect Symphony, but I really like the original version the best. I think it's a really nice ballad, and it has really like touching lyrics and everything. The next single that came out was Leading Man by Will J, and it was just a single that came out. It's very Bruno Mars-ish, and it has kind of this retro R&B kind of sound to it. So if you're into like Bruno Mars, I'd recommend checking it out. And it has really interesting lyrics and an interesting concept about like comparing it to being in a relationship with somebody to being like the leading man in a film, I guess. The next single that I liked a lot was Praying by Kesha from her album Rainbow, and it's just a really different sound for her as opposed to like the electronic stuff she normally does. And it was kind of a turning point for her because everybody knows like what went on with her with the rape allegations and stuff, and so I think it's a really powerful song. I like the sound of it a lot because it's so different than what she normally does, and it's got really powerful lyrics and a powerful message. The next couple songs that I liked were from Linkin Park. They came out with an album this year called One More Light. So a couple songs from that were the single Heavy featuring Kiara and the title track One More Light. So obviously everybody knows that Chester Bennington passed away this year, so there was a lot of publicity around Linkin Park, and so I normally actually wasn't really a fan of Linkin Park that much, and so after I heard about his death, I checked them out, and these were a couple songs that I really liked. I know a lot of their fans actually aren't so much a fan of the pop sound that they went for, but I do like the song, I like the song Heavy, because it's very pop. It's like the kind of stuff that I like, and I do like the message and the lyrics of it, and it's really catchy. And then I also like One More Light because it's just a really powerful, emotional ballad. So One More Light was just one that really struck a chord with me, and I like it a lot. The next single that I checked out is a song called More by a singer named Sarah Barrios, and she's actually a local singer from where I'm from in Connecticut. She's kind of like an indie pop singer-songwriter kind of thing, and the song More is like a piano-driven ballad. The next single is The Breakdown by Lee DeWise, and it's off of his upcoming album that's coming out it's coming out in 2018. I've kind of always liked Lee DeWise since he was on American Idol, but I've kind of been meh on his last couple of albums, but I kind of always check out his singles to see what he's doing, and I really like The Breakdown a lot. It's kind of like, it reminds me of like 90s alternative music, and it's very relaxing to me, and I think has a really cool sound. It's kind of like a good blend of the old and the new. Haley Reinhart this year released a 60s cover album called What's That Sound, so I liked a couple of tracks from that. Baby It's You, which I think was originally done by the Shirelles. I'm not sure who the original artist is attributed to, but I think the Shirelles did it. And For What It's Worth by Buffalo Springfield. And those were just a couple tracks from that album that I really liked a lot. I think she did a good job staying true to the original songs, but still putting like a modern spin on it. So I really liked her interpretations of those songs. The next single is Criminal by Lauren Carnahan, and this is an upbeat pop song. It kind of reminded me of the album 1989 by Taylor Swift, so if you're into that like 80s pop kind of music, you might like this. I just like it because it's really catchy. The next single was a song called Wings Clipped by an electronic artist named Gray, and this was a feature with Avril Lavigne and Anthony Green off of their EP Chameleon. So again, I'm a really big fan of Avril, so that's how I heard of the song. It's very different. Like the genre it's kind of a mix of different genres. It kind of has like a Latin pop sound, but then it also has electronic and like dubstep in it, so it's kind of, I think the first time you listen to it, it's a little strange because it's just like all these genres all over the place, but I think after you've listened to it a couple times, it kind of grows on you. But I really just like Avril's part a lot. Like I think her voice sounds really great on it, and it's kind of an interesting take on modern pop music. The next couple songs are from Kelsea Ballerini's new album Unapologetically. So I liked High School and End of the World. I'm not like a super big fan of Kelsea Ballerini. I just liked, I like a few of her songs, but I like High School and End of the World from her new album. I really like High School because it reminds me a lot of like early Taylor Swift music, like that country pop kind of stuff, and I guess she actually wrote that song herself, and I think the lyrics are really good. And End of the World is a good song. Like it just has a good message, and it's really like catchy and like kind of feel good, I guess. So those were just two songs from her album that I really liked. And then the last single that I liked was a cover of Baby It's Cold Outside by Avril Lavigne and Johnny Blue. So again, big Avril fan. She decided to release a song for Christmas this year, her cover of Baby It's Cold Outside, and I actually really liked it a lot. It's very jazzy, which obviously she's known more for doing like pop rock and pop punk kind of music, so it's a very different kind of song for her to do, and she actually sounds really good on it. Like I think she sounds really good singing jazz music. So that's all of the music from 2017 that I liked. Let me know down in the comments below what your favorite music from this year was, or if you liked any of the same music that I did, any recommendations you have. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video.